Every day, more and more road users are filming their journeys, which can often end in disaster. Pioneered by motorists in Russia and Eastern Europe, dashboard-mounted cameras are constantly recording our behavior on the roads. From the bizarre, to the ridiculous, the funny, to the downright dangerous. The thousands and thousands of dash cams around the world have captured just about every mishap you can think of. Now we're going to delve into this treasure trove of stupidity on the roads. Put things right by pointing the finger of blame. Replay the action to see what really happened. And of course, there's nothing like seeing other people's mistakes when it comes to helping us become better drivers. And please remember, on all the clips, yes, that's all the clips we show, no one, and that means no one, is seriously hurt. So drive safely. Not everyone is this lucky. Coming up on this episode of Car Crash TV, more baffling, balmy and downright bonkers road use from the roads around the world that, had it happened in Britain, would have flown in the face of the following recommendations laid out in our beloved Highway Code. Article 267, do not overtake unless you are sure it is safe and legal to do so. Article 160, once moving, you should drive with both hands on the wheel where possible. This will help you to remain in full control of the vehicle at all times. The one about remaining vigilant when the LADA alert level is at severe. And from I Think You've Left Something Behind, my guide to living with leprosy. Chapter 1. Just because it's dropped off doesn't mean it can't be popped back on again. Most people, including myself, are time poor. Why, I barely had a chance to walk the dog, do my taxes, and school Neil on the finer points of tea preparation before settling down to record this sumptuous voiceover for you. And people are time poor on the roads too, though some bright sparks have tried to solve this problem by switching from 4 wheels to 2. Yes, they may now be able to weave through traffic with ease, but in doing so they've turned themselves into scary bikers. If you were to go online and image search the word depressing, you'd be met with a picture of this town. Christ, it's bleak. No wonder that guy tried to end it all. Bad luck, chum. Just pick yourself up and maybe leave town instead. Got to be a much less extreme solution. It can be very easy to fall asleep at the wheel of a car, but much less easy to fall asleep at the handlebars of a motorcycle. This guy, however, has managed it expertly. Where's a travel tavern when you need one? Oh my God, I can barely watch. Phew, that was a relief. Just a mild concussion rather than a major decapitation. Apparently, that guy was looking for a sign from God, though probably not a literal one. There's another one of those cycling menaces up ahead. Quick, get her! Oh, she's not wearing lycra. We could have let her off. Still, best to be safe. A modern retelling of Cinderella now. Here's Prince Charming on his Kawasaki, chasing down cinders after she fled the ball. And there she is, cock-a-hoop, after meeting the man of her dreams. Well, that wasn't very charming, was it? Fair play for getting a slipper back to her, but these aren't great foundations on which to build a lasting relationship. Of course, one of the biggest problems with opting for 2 wheels over 4 is exposure to the agony that comes from being saddle sore. That pain can attack at any moment and can be seriously debilitating, which is why I haven't been able to ride anything with 2 wheels or a horse since I accidentally wandered into the nudist beach in Gran Canaria in 2012. If you're watching, Simon, call me. They say 2 wrongs don't make a right, and as my wife is eager to point out, numerous wrongs don't make a right either. but they do make for an expensive court battle. The loss of my caravan in Rill, my dignity, and my Dashcam Basil. So, with my personal life in tatters, I've fallen back on my professional life as a way to do right. And there's no better way to realize this than solving another crash scene investigation. Okay, first things first. What do they put in the water in this part of the world? 3 SUVs at the scene. The population must be very fertile if there's this many family wagons on the road. But we're not here to conduct sperm counts. We're here to solve crash scenes. So let's get down to business. Is the culprit of this crash SUV A, who's gone sideways, SUV B, who's buried in SUV A's bum, or SUV C, who may or may not be sneakily reversing away from the scene? That's enough cogitating, my friend. Let's solve this mother. And as we start the action, there isn't an SUV to be seen. Maybe I was wrong about this place. Maybe the male population aren't respected swordsmen after all. Wait, there's SUV A entering the fray and showing intent to turn left, but doing so from the middle lane rather than the left-hand one. Well, that's not right. So he is guilty of one crime, and here comes SUV B to make that 2. Absolutely appalling lane etiquette for a multi-lane carriageway. SUV A, you, my son, are nicked. They say patience is a virtue, and nowhere is that statement more prevalent than on our roads. The patient driver may reach their destination slightly later, but they will be safe in the knowledge that they'll arrive there unscathed. The impatient drivers, however, open themselves up to a myriad of dangers, much like I do when I ask Neil to prepare my cup of tea. But those dangers must clearly be worth it if you're an aggressive overtaker. In this part of the world, the harmless funfair activity of dodgems has been banned for some inexplicable reason, and as a result, thrill seekers take their cars out on the open road and try and recreate the joy of bumping into each other. The irony is, this activity is perfectly legal. Can't help but think the health and safety police have got this one very wrong. We're back in Mexico, and a collection of the locals are once again trying to break through the wall and into Trump's America. Don't bother, guys. You'll only end up getting blown to smithereens by a North Korean missile. Just sit tight until the Democrats are in power and go again. Little bit of international politics for you there. Never let it be said this show is just innuendo and outdated stereotypes. We have range. I wonder if this car has airbags. And I wonder if that car has wing mirrors, because this car definitely doesn't. And from cars missing parts to people missing parts, because I can only assume that this utter moron has no eyes. It's the only explanation for trying that sort of overtaking maneuver. Yes, I'm shaking my head too. In this part of the world, they actually teach overtaking. This guy's a beginner. 1 car, no problem. Easily overtaken. Nicely done. Now the next step will be to try and overtake 2 cars in one maneuver. But this learner's feeling bold and is trying for a truck, 4x4, van, car, and bus all at once. His instructor is unimpressed. Now you sit there and think about what you've done while we all judge you. Now the worst kind of aggressive overtaker is the one who also undertakes, like this swine we're traveling with. Fortunately, there's a larder alert in place, so he's destined to get his comeuppance. Yep, there it is. I don't know how the larder does it, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, their power really is far-reaching. Coming up later on Car Crash TV, we hide behind the sofa and scream, "Watch out, there's a larder about!" Gasp in amazement in Abracadabra. And get back to nature in Country Bumpins. But first, he looks shifty. Possibly up to no good? Well, I don't want to cast aspersions, so I let you decide by simply asking, what happens next? It's criminal! Welcome back to Car Crash TV. So what did happen next? Well, I don't know about you, but I hate shopping in the supermarket, so I've embraced the joy that is the online delivery service. However, while convenient, it does come with its dangers, as my neighborhood isn't the most affluent. Oi, not that box. I won't get through the day if I don't have my copy of West Sussex Life, chili con carne in a can, and asti spumante. Oh, the humanity. many different reasons you might want to move out into the countryside. Maybe you've tired of the big city ways and just want a slower pace of life. Maybe you want a bigger pile in a more idyllic setting. Or maybe you just like the smell of But if you're thinking of moving out to the countryside for a safer life on the roads, then I've got news for you, my friends. The asphalt is just as unpredictable, and you'll soon find yourself involved in all sorts of country bumpins. Out in the country, they make a buck any way they can. The guy up ahead, for example, is on his way to market to sell the feathers he painstakingly plucked from his flock of geese. Of course, being from the country, he's good with his hands, but not great with his mind. You need some weights in there, my friend. Nothing worse than having a disappointing end to a good pluck. Life can be depressing in the country, and for some, the misery is too much. Take this bloke, so depressed about his lot that he's decided to end it all. And he can't even get that right. When living out in the sticks, you accept that you're surrounded by an abundance of wildlife, and occasionally that wildlife will stray onto the roads. It's inevitable, but be patient with them, okay? They were here first, and they will clear the asphalt when they're good and ready. You are not Dr. Dolittle, okay? If you go driving out in the countryside, you will often find you have the asphalt to yourself. You can drive for miles and miles without seeing another car on your side of the road. As such, it is easy to become complacent. But remember, a loss of focus can lead to, well, a loss of focus in this instance. People behave differently out in the sticks, and what can seem like an innocent lay-by at the side of the road may actually be a den of iniquity, with people wearing masks and doing unmentionable things. Don't judge them, though. Just make your apologies and try to leave without inconveniencing anyone else on the road.
I'm sorry, mate. It's just not for me. I was looking for somewhere to go for a nice ramble.
People who live out in the sticks are immune to the temptations offered by capitalism. So if someone throws up a fast food restaurant at the side of the road, it will probably take the locals a while to catch on. Oh, look, they've finally twigged. And all it took was one of them to almost have a whopper of an accident. Yes, I'm here all week. That fast food restaurant is on the outskirts of Plonsk, and a sudden shift of wind direction means the smell of delicious flamed grilled beef has just hit this guy. Do you want fries with that? The motor car is built from a myriad of different parts. From the minuscule to the massive, they all play a part in keeping the thing in one piece and on the road. So why do so many people in our clips seem hell-bent on trying to remove some of these parts from the body of their car? You know what? I don't care. What I care about is devising a clever guessing game that's built around predicting which part is removed from a car following a crash. And you know what? I've only gone and ruddy done it. This is Appetite for Deconstruction.
When I say rock and roll, I bet you think of a nice country drive in a Peugeot, don't you? But I promise you, in that car, they have Anthrax playing and the volume cracked up to 11. But is this hardcore collision going to see the car we're on board lose a wing mirror, a number plate, or a bumper? It's a bumper. Now throw on some Megadeth and let the head banging begin. Listen, mate. I know it's cool to be rebellious, but there's nothing cool about not using your windscreen wiper. You can be rock and roll while obeying the laws of the road, my friend. That's better, and just in the nick of time too. Otherwise, this round might have been ruined. So will the impending incident see the car we're travelling in lose a bumper, a wing mirror, or a number plate? The wing mirror gets it, and we were all able to witness it. You're a rebel with a cause, mate. Wow, that was a fast start. I've not felt a head rush like that since that incident in Cincinnati with 4 groupies, some medicinal marijuana and a hot tub. But will this bash to the black car's backside see it say goodbye to a bumper, a wheel, or a spoiler? Spoiler alert! It was the spoiler! Finally, we're in Liverpool, and up ahead, 3 people are failing miserably to recreate the album cover for Abbey Road. There were 4 of them in the Beatles. You aren't even trying. Well, let's try and make up for that disappointment by cracking open a bottle of Jack and partaking in some herbals. Sorry, those are for after we finished. First things first, is the car on the left that steamed into shot like a bat out of hell gonna lose a hubcap, a number plate, or a bumper? And the bump removes the bumper. Right, that's me done. Now someone release the groupies so I can tuck into me rider. I'll see you again soon. Rock on, people. Wait, is that my ex-wife? What's she doing? After some strange again, I'd imagine.
All around the world, the larder epidemic has been continuing at pace. We have multiple reports coming in from the front line as these four-wheeled beasts ramp up their assault on the world at large. No one is safe, nowhere is safe, so tread carefully when you're out on the asphalt and only make your journey if it is absolutely necessary. This is a CCTV News special report with Chad Dexter. The threat level is at severe, people. Watch out! There's a larder about! First tonight, we have exclusive footage from Copenhagen, which shows the Ladas adopting psychological warfare in order to take down unsuspecting members of the public. Look how this one advances slowly, fooling the driver into thinking it is safe to proceed. The Lada takes a hit, but due to its reinforced steel doors, the damage is much greater to the other vehicle. Their cunning knows no bounds. Our next report comes from Brooklyn, New York, where a driver suffered a shocking surprise attack whilst trying to make an innocent left turn. Look how the Lada uses its chameleon-like styling to catch our driver unawares and grab a much sought-after Toyota badge as a trophy. Staying in America, and I'm sad to report that this beautiful Maryland fall vista is about to be ruined by a pair of Ladas. Up ahead, two of the vicious beasts have formed a pincer movement, and the poor car that finds itself in their claws has no option but to panic. He may have fallen, but at least he tried to dish out a little bit of revenge on one of the duo. We need more brave soldiers like this if we're gonna win this difficult battle. Here in Budapest again, we see two of the hateful creatures working in tandem. This one identifies the isolated prey, and his cohort carries out the vicious attack. Don't worry, we will cut away before the other one returns to share the spoils. In Moscow, drivers have been using the cover of night to try and make crucial journeys undetected. But here, the outbreak has reached epidemic levels. And next time, I think this man will have to consider how vital insulin really is to him. And if any further evidence were required to show how outnumbered we truly are, take this footage from Lyon, where not one, not two, but three of the beasts were spotted. After an initial skirmish, the trio quickly find common ground and take up a formidable formation on the road. It's a brave man who tries to take on these three. And finally, a good news story to end on. In Munich, one of the nasty little devils found itself isolated from the pack, and a local vigilante decided to take the law into his own hands. Obviously, we at CCTV News cannot condone such behavior, but I think we speak for everyone when I say, bravo, sir. Chad Dexter, signing off. Darren Brown, David Copperfield, Dynamo, some of the greatest modern illusionists working today. We tried to book them all, and we failed to book them all. But that's what happens when you only offer £50, a carton of fags, and a bottle of meths. Not everyone is as cheap as me. So sadly, this next item doesn't really have the gravitas I'd hoped it might. In fact, it barely has any. So please stick with us, and let's get through another installment of Abracadabra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the incredible Cars Machine. And to ease you in gently, we have a classic. That black saloon waiting at the junction is about to get a nasty surprise in the form of an articulated lorry. But will that surprise come from the left or the right?
You could have got Copperfield for an extra 50 quid and some unbranded vodka, but no. You had to book this guy.
Abracadabra. Right up the jacksie from the right. Mind-blowing. It's busy, considering it's Christmas Day, and Santa is running late. But will he appear with his bulging sack from the left or the right?
Oi, this is a family show. You aren't in Blackpool now. Tone down the smut.
Abracadabra! It was the right. And yes, Santa drives a silver car these days.
I said this is a family show. Stop ruining Christmas for the kids.
Boxing Day now, and having successfully unloaded his sack, Santa is now en route back to the North Pole to gorge on mince pies.
You're on the edge, mate. I'm on very good terms with HR. I could end you with one phone call.
And while our illustrious host considers that I am having relations with Pam from HR, you consider this, left or right? Abracadabra, it was the right.
First Neil, now this guy. Pam is proving to be a bit of a one.
And now, for my final trick tonight, I'm going to mix things up a bit. Will our little red friend receive a little light knock from the right or the left? See what I did there?
That really isn't mixing things up. Yes, can you put me through to Pam, please?
You wouldn't dare! Abracadabra! It was the left! I have been the incredible Cars Machine, and you...
Next Friday would be lovely, Pam. And of course I'll bring the riding crop. Life on the roads can often be perilous, and there are so many hazards you need to be on the lookout for. From pedestrians, right through to trucks and everything in between. No one who uses the road acts predictably. Actually, that's not true. There is one class of vehicle that I can guarantee will act selfishly, irresponsibly, and dangerously when they take to the roads. I am, of course, talking about the vicious vans. And to begin with, I'm going to back up my previous statement, as I sense that some of you might be doubting me. So here's some proof. See, they even hunt in packs. Heed my warnings. Despite 3 failed marriages, I know what I'm talking about, honestly. But if you require further evidence, then fine. I offer up this for your consideration. Look at the way this van cuts up the car we're traveling in. And also he can get to the outlet shops quicker. Just pay full price for your power tools, crockery and soft furnishings, you tight git. Well, this is clever. Disguising your depressing concrete slab of a building so it looks like something more desirable. It's got a swimming pool and everything. Of course, as it's nighttime, the illusion is shattered somewhat. Fool that guy, though, who slammed on for a closer look. Some people are so gullible. Well, this is the perfect storm, isn't it? A vicious van being overtaken by an arrogant Audi. This, I'm afraid, will only end one way. We better cut away now, though, as these sorts of confrontations usually end with 2 drivers having to prove who has the biggest willy. Spoiler alert, it won't be the Audi driver. That's a lot of cabling suspended over the road. In fact, the mere presence of that much electrically charged wiring is surely going to be distracting for the drivers. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Only a modest consultation fee, happy finish optional. My number's on the screen now.